All right. 4 mana, slow speed from Bilgewater. Siren Song. Summon a random husk. Grant 1 cost allies everywhere +1/+1. Okay, this is broken. Wait. Isn't this turbo broken? It's grant. Grant 1 cost allies everywhere +1/+1. This goes in Evelyn decks? Okay, so here's the thing, right? If you play this in the Evelyn deck, every time you summon a husk after playing this card, your husks are 1/2s. You play this again, all your husks are 2/3s. What? This makes Evelyn decks so good because there are so many cards that give you husks. Okay, here's what's gonna happen. You're actually gonna like
Bilge deck.
Yeah. Exactly. Elise Bilgewater deck, sure. I mean, Elise is rotated, right? I think this is just Evelyn with whatever else. Maybe you're playing Evelyn in like a 1-drop deck. Nah, this card is nuts. This card is absolutely nuts. Aatrox and Zolani? Yeah, Bilgewater Zolani. Wasn't that already a thing? The Aatrox Reverse Row deck? 3/2 Lucian. We can unnerve Lucian with this? I think this card is extremely broken. This is actually a meta-defining card. You can play a 1-drop on turn 1 or a 2-drop on turn 2, and then on turn 3 you play this, and for the rest of the game you're gonna outstat your opponent. That's actually so crazy. Like, you get to the point where your Solters are gonna be 2/5s, and that is so much better than 1/3s too. And that's like worst case scenario, right? Imagine giving this to like your Evelyn. She will never die. I actually think this might also be insane for Evelyn Kaisa, where you play the deck a little bit slower. You already want to like play units that you don't really care about that you could just throw away, and if you give extra stats to those, you just make your Kaisa and Evelyn that much more likely to take over the game. Yeah, and Poros too. Yeah. Wow. The Voidlings too. Yeah, they have 1-drops. Insane. I remember when Spirits Unleashed got reworked to give everything everywhere +1/+1, and the first deck I played was Evelyn Udyr, because as soon as you play Spirits Unleashed, your husks being 1/2s and then also playing like a little bit bigger units became so ridiculous so fast. But, you know, Spirits Unleashed was 5 mana, so you did have to really sacrifice your early game. This card, you can still play a 2-drop if you really need to hold the line. Like, Siren Song is in the region with Mirai Warden. Can you imagine just getting to turn 3, playing a Mirai Warden, and then playing this card, and you're good for the rest of the game? You have 2 blockers, and then all your stuff is just bigger. Wow. Yeah, you can play this in Evelyn decks. It says Husk. Summon a random Husk. You can play this in Evelyn decks. This is a game change for Evelyn. And it's in the Fizz region. Wow. I think this is insane. This is a 5 out of 5 card. I can already tell you. All right. The Swindler's Den. 6 mana landmark from Bilgewater. Your cards in hand have fleeting. When you play a card, draw 1. Wait. Wait. All right. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again like I did last time with all the Bilgewater cards. This is why Twisted Fate got rotated.
Also team with Bilgewater to use Mirror Leader.
Oh, Condense actually gets buffed too from that card. Yeah, you're right. Oh, wow. There are so many options here. And then there's this card, also in Bilgewater. Actually, with that Husk card, it's pretty funny. Because you kind of want, if you're playing this card, you want to have a deck with very cheap cards. So you can literally like chain the entire way through, right? If you have a lot of 1-drops, you will just fill your board every single turn. Tentacles are 1 cost, yeah. You're gonna go deep with it? Dude, on turn 6, you should already be deep. Let's be honest. This card will either be dog or newt. Oh yeah, this card will either be dog or newt. I think you're right about that, Robomaster. Nah, this card has to be good somewhere. I would be so surprised if there isn't at least one deck where this is nuts. There needs to be at least one deck where this is just crazy. With Jinx, I could kind of see it with Jinx, yeah. It's meme deck, I think. I could see that. It's exactly like Roguemaster said. This card is either insane and meta-defining, or it's the absolute worst garbage in the entire game. It's either one of those, but I'm here for both of it. Now, my worry is that this will spawn, again, some kind of Seraphine decks where once they play this landmark, they just keep going and they don't stop. As soon as the landmark is on the board, I think you're just dead in the right deck. I think that is the only scenario where this is playable. A 6-mana landmark gets played, the game ends the next turn. This is insane as a top deck? Yeah, it is. Maybe you actually just play one in this in all your build order decks, because if you're out of steam, you top deck this and you get all your cards back. This is incredible, man. I love this design so much. This is why Twisted Fate had to get rotated, guys. This is the reason. We're gonna say it every single time a draw cards gets printed. This is why TF is eternal now. Avatar of the Tides with Victor Seraphine and this card, dude. You're never gonna run out of cards with Avatar. With this, you're double never gonna run out of cards. Sarah always has cards. He hates his card. I could see that, yeah. Seraphine's hand is always full. Man. It's kind of weird in Bilgewater, right? Because Bilgewater has very good draw. They have I have not Gaboro, so you really need to go all in on your draws. Maybe this is a Mischievous Mirai card, because Mischievous Mirai really likes just constantly drawing and hope you get your warning shot or something. I could kind of see that. I'm gonna be honest. I think there's gonna be at least one deck where this is nuts and where you just die as soon as this is on the board. Maybe decks that use the husk card in Bilgewater, you can use this as steam on like turn 7. I could see that actually, yeah. Where you are actually just dropping your cards constantly, and you're pretty low to the ground with your deck, and then on 6 you play Swindler's Den where you're almost out of fuel, and then you just keep going and you never run out of cards anymore. Yeah, that could easily be. It's so inconsistent though, because you have to imagine, you drop this card on 6, and you know for a fact that your next turn is going to start with 0 cards in hand. But you top deck one card that you have to chain off entirely. If that card is a spell, and then you chain into more spells, you can actually just keep going while it's your opponent's turn. But if your opponent just open attacks and you draw a minion, your hand is empty and you could lose. It's what Bilgewater is all about. It's high risk, high reward. It is the Bilgewater card. Maybe TF being gone isn't so bad, right? Because we get to see cards like this. Very, very, very cool card. I think it has potential. All right. 2-mana cat from Bilgewater, Deck Hunter. 1/3, play manifest a follower that has different subtype than allies in play. Manifest a follower that has a different subtype than allies in play. That's good. Yeah, it's really good. Actually, it's a pretty insane card. It's simple. It's a bad stat line, but it is very good. It's more subtype soup, exactly. It's kind of like a conch. It's kind of like a mayor. Very comparable to mayor and conch, where it's just like, here's a cheap unit that has okay stats, but gives you another card in your hand that has different subtype than allies in play. So what if you play nothing on turn 1, and then on turn 2 you play this? Does it just like you get the entire pool? That's how you should see this, right? If you have nothing on board, this is just like you can get whatever. All but cat. Oh, dude. It has to be except cat, you're right. Oh my god, this could not be anything but a cat. Because if you play this card and you find the cunning kitten, you just win the game. Because then you get a 2-mana 4/4 from this. If it was a cat, yeah, it'd be turbo busted. Or if this was not a cat, you could manifest a cat. Exactly, you can't get a cat, but that is why this is a cat. Because if you can get a cunning kitten, it's insane. It can't be a cat. No, it can't be, because this drops the board, and then it's like, oh, there's a cat, because cat is me. It's anything but cat. Your opponent's gonna find something like Lord Eldred from this. Oh my god, if I'm playing Time Bomb Printer and they get Lord Eldred, I'm gonna lose it. You cannot get any cards that are from special pools. You can't get Mecha Yordles, you can't get Celestials. It's everything else. This is a very solid card. This is going to see play in a lot of decks. It's like, yeah, 2-mana 1/3 that manifests a card. It's just good. You don't mind that at all. That's just good. All right, next card. 5-mana Burst from Ionia. Rejuvenating Breeze. Heal your Nexus 3 and draw 2 spells. I mean, it's like, whatever, right? It's probably not like game breaking or anything, but yeah, it's very, very good in Rise. It's a solid card, and anytime Ionia gets a solid card, I'm like, why? Why does this have to happen? Heal your Nexus 3 and draw 2 spells. Yeah, it's just good. It's just good. It's a healing pot on a draw 2. Seraphine can use it. This is a 5 cost for the fan club. Fan club got rotated, so I'm not super unhappy about that potential, but man. Yeah, this in Karma decks, dude. Oh my god! With Karma? Draw 4, heal 6? Come on. It's better than the coin draw 2 in decks that aren't set and have more coin stuff. Wow. Yeah, good card. Hate saying it. It's a good card. Yeah, the fact that draw spells is definitely better for Ionia than just drawing anything. Drawing spells is really good. Alright. Lame. 4 mana Ionia. All-Seeing Oracle. 4/3. Pick one of 3 fast or slow spells in the enemy's hand or deck. Create a Carvings of Divination for it. One of 3 fast or slow spells in the enemy's hand or deck. Create a Carvings of Divination for it. 1 mana fast. Stop the chosen spell. Nah, I'm done here. What? What? Why? Literally why? Pick what? One of 3. They can pick which one. Dude, it's like I'm playing one expensive spell. I'm playing my War Mother deck, right? You guys saw me play War Mother. That was like the only slow or fast spell that I had. They play this card and I can never play my Wincon? Yeah, they get to see 3 cards that are in my deck and then they can pick to stop one of them that I can never play? What do you mean all-seeing? This guy looks blind. Stop means counter. It means it's gone. Yeah, so Ionia plays this card on 4, and it's a 4-mana 4/3, by the way. 4-mana 4/3. Why is it a 4-mana 4/3? Pick one of 3. They get to see 3 cards in your hand or deck, and then for the rest of the game, you're just gonna have to stare at this abomination for the rest of the game. You're like, oh, cool. If I ever draw this spell, I never get to play it. Dude, this card, the All-Seeing Oracle, and the Rejuvenating Breeze, why? Nobody likes playing against Karma set, and they get these 2 cards? Why do they get these 2 cards? Karma set is already like one of the most played decks in the game, and nobody likes playing against it. And then they give them 2 more cards that nobody will like to play against. Trixie Tentacles meta. Yeah, Trixie Tentacles to discard coins or discard. All right, no, I see the light, chat. You know what's gonna happen? Get the hell out. Okay, hold on. I am only going to play decks that have, not this one. I am only going to play decks with this Giga Chat in there. It's the only way. It's the only way. What are they gonna deny when I'm playing elites, huh? What are they gonna deny? Well, my champion strength, I guess. That's pretty good. Demacia, elites, they were always the good guys. Demacia did nothing wrong. Can we return to the Demacia meta so we don't have to look at cards like this ever again? Oh my god. Yeah. Elites literally runs like 2 spells that are slow or fast. They generate for Demacia, they have single combat, and they have champion strength. So this will always hit it. Yeah, it denies, Bury denies for 1 mana too. Aatrox counter. Yeah. Yeah, it could be. I don't understand why it's a 4/3. Why is it a 4/3, chat? Why does this have good stats? When it can literally just give you a middle finger for the rest of the game. That doesn't sound right. Yeah, I was exactly thinking, this is like aloof before nerf. Why was aloof ever a 3-4? Why is this going to be a 4-3? We shouldn't make frustrating cards get this good stat lines. Does it prioritize an end? That's a good question. I don't know about that. It might just be completely random. Set Karma needs to get nerfed. There is no way that deck is going to stay around the way it is with this card and this card on top. Wow, trash. Degenerate. I hate how good it is. Okay, next. 8 mana Spider from Shadow Owls. 5/8. Necrotic Arachnoid. When I'm summoned, summon 2 Necrotic Nestlings. When another ally dies, drain 1 from the enemy nexus. Oh. Oh, it's like the Neverglade Collector, right? And it's a spider. Summon 2 Necrotic Nestlings. 2 mana 2/2 fearsome. Wait, are you serious? Wait. This card is nuts. Isn't it? Wait. You drop this dude? And you get 3 units on the board? No, this card is nuts. It costs 8, but that doesn't really matter. This is such a good card for Shadow Owls. Yeah, I mean, it's 8 mana, sure. 8 mana is a lot, but getting 3 blockers? At 8, you already lost. If you're losing at 8, you're probably playing, like, the wrong Shadow Owl deck. Dr. Boom, yeah. No, I've seen this scenario before. I've seen this scenario before, dude. Dr. Boom. Unplayable garbage, right? This is Spider Boom. You ran out of cards at turn 9. I don't know with Shadow Owls, dude. Shadow Owls is as good draw nowadays. I mean, that's the one thing about it. It's 8 mana. At 9, this would be utterly unplayable. At 7, it would be turbo broken. Oh my god, in Nasus Vaults? Wait, you're right. Dude, this card is insane in Nasus Vaults. You replace this with Detonata, right? I think this card is good. I don't think it's like game breaking or anything, but I actually think it's a very good card. Like, first of all, with Vaults, right? Vaults, this is perfect. So good. A 5/8 that brings 2 units is incredible. But standalone, like, if you're playing a mid-range Shadow Owl deck that kind of leans towards control, I really don't think you mind playing this on 8. 3 units? That is just good. You have to imagine, like, Shadow Owl is pretty good at kind of trimming down opponents' boards. If at turn 8, they somehow have, like, a pretty big board, you drop this guy, you block some of their stuff, and you heal in the process. Yeah, and it drains too, you heal from it. You play this, you block with your 2/2s, and you get 2 health back. It just doesn't work with Tybok. It's not a skill. You can get this from Cat. Oh yeah, you can get this from Cat. Dude, if you get this in your 1-drop deck, that's pretty good, man. It has a lot. Yeah, it's a 5/8. You only kill this if you have like a Vengeance or something. This doesn't even die to like Sunburst. This itself doesn't have Fearsome, which is kind of a downside. But these do. But they're just 2/2s. Yeah, I don't know. I think this card is good. Like, it's not a 5 out of 5 card, but it is generally like, it looks like a very good card to me. How is it good? Is a 1-cost deck? No, you don't care about that. If you play this, if you play your 1-cost deck and you play the Cat and you summon this on turn 8, you just block with your 1-cost units. And they're like chumps. So then you drain 1. It's like, you just don't mind giving up your army of 1-drops so you can get this effect to go. They don't have Spider Tech though? Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. Like, does that matter right now that they don't have the Spider Tech? Why do we care about spiders? Is there any synergy, like, I'm not aware of? I mean, there was, like, the, in Hearthstone, it was called Haunted Creeper, I think. Haunted Creeper was a 2-mana 1/2 with Last Breath summon 2 1/1s. And they were, like, these ghosty spiders, but they weren't actually spiders themselves. Oops. And that always bothered me, too, but I've learned to live with it. These are just ghost spiders, so they're not real spiders. Wait, oh my god, if you revive this with Callista, you get 2 2/2s? Ghost Spider tag, yeah. Callista's meta now. I wouldn't say meta, but I've seen Callista be played pretty frequently. A lot more than before. Yeah, Condense on this is funny, man. Eternal Dancers, yeah. Timelines is not that good because you don't get the summon effect. With the space that Shadow Owls is in right now, which is mostly Nasus decks, this is just good. It does so much stuff for Shadow Owls. You do? When you transform into this? No. No, you don't. If you play your pillar and you transform into this, you don't get 2 necrotic nestlings. When I'm summoned, I improvise gets a weapon. No, it doesn't if you transform into it. If you transform from a weapon master into something else, then you get the weapon. Okay, next card. 2 mana spider again from Shadow Isles. Tufted webspinner. Fearsome. Play if an ally has a different subtype than me, give an enemy -2, -0 this round. That's a 3/1. This art is kind of cute in a weird way. It's pretty good, I'd say. It's okay. Like a 2 mana 3/1 fearsome is not the worst. And potential upside. I think it's probably going to be really hard to activate this on turn 2. I don't know if you care about activating this on turn 2 either. If you activate this on turn 2, you're like just trying to smork. This is a spider that don't want to be in a spider deck? Yeah. Yeah, that's like the first one. Yeah, it's good with Nocturne. Oh, yeah, this is a very good card with Nocturne. Yeah, Nocturne synergizes with this really, really well. The 3/2 spider, better that gives enemies -1. Yeah, but that's a 3-drop. So, yeah. There are a lot of 1 mana birds. Oh, wait, you're right. Oh, okay, wait. We have seen the Demacia Callisto decks, right? So on turn 1, you play the Fleet Feather Tracker as a bird. And then on turn 2, you play this. You give something -2 attack, and then the Fleet Feather Tracker gets to kill it for free. Ah. Onlooker is a bird, yes. But I think the Fleet Feather Tracker makes a lot more sense because you have a hard time activating the Onlooker on turn 1, right? It's got to be on turn 3? But with the Fleet Feather, I could kind of see this. Yeah, cool card. Probably going to be pretty good. Tracker plus Protector, but less consistent. I guess so, yeah. I mean, you don't have to say less consistent because if you have the Fleet Feather on 1, then you're always going to have this active, right? But I think a barrier is a little better than giving something -2, -0, and both of them are in the same region. So, yeah, it's like Tracker plus Protector, but with a different flavor slightly. Citria also has lead. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this seems good with Demacia. The other card I could kind of see this with is the Omen Hawk. Fiat Soup, thank you for the Prime sub. Pretty mid card, but funny. Cute. 1 mana equipment from Shadow Isle 0/0. Sacred Shears. Attack when another ally gains power from Hallowed, so does my bearer. This is Gwen's effect. When another ally gains power from Hallowed. So this doesn't work with the one you put on the left. For 1 mana, I think this is pretty good, actually. For 1 mana, this feels very solid. What if you put this on Gwen? Does Gwen get double the effect from her Hallowed? I guess he does, right? It doubles? Oh, that's good. For 1 mana, this is very good, yeah. Listen, I like Ballcocks, so I'll play this card too, man. Yeah, there it is. Only war. Gregodes, thank you for the 5 months. This card seems very solid to me. The best deck for this will probably be like the Gwen Freljord decks we've been seeing, which is just Overwhelm, right? They usually have 1 mana to spare on spell mana. So you just play your Overwhelm game plan. On turn 4, you play Gwen. On turn 5 or 6, you play a big Overwhelm. You put this on it. Yeah, it's just good. Or you put this on Gwen even. Seems really good. 1 mana to become Gwen? Yeah. Can I pay 1 mana for an equipment for something to shuffle 4 time bombs? Can I do that? It's like 1 mana, attack, shuffle 4 time bombs into your deck. Can I do that? Riot, please? Can I have some love too for the old man? 1 mana, I am Gwen. Can it skill off another Sacred Shears? I mean, you can only have 1 equipment at a time on 1 unit, so I don't think so. Wait. Photoshop out the scissors to get a finger gun. You're right. If this scissor wasn't here, it would just be this. Nice. I like this card a lot. I think it's very good. Might not be a 3-off, but I could totally see this as like a 2-off in almost every Gwen deck that plays a little bit aggressively to just put 2 of these in their deck. Reject Snip Snip, embrace Pew Pew. I love it. Good card, very good. And that was it. Those were all the cards. What a banger reveal day, honestly. So many good and interesting cards. All right, we're gonna quickly give them a rating from 1 to 5, where 5 is nuts. Okay. So, Siren Song, 5-star card. Easy 5-star card. This card is going to be meta-defining for sure. 0 stars gets denied for 1 mana. Stop it, man. Cryo. This is already torturing me, and the new expansion isn't even out yet. Only because of Revo? No, just because Evelyn exists. This is insane in Evelyn decks. Evelyn decks have struggled with actually getting stats on meaningful units. Now, you don't really care if it's a meaningful unit or not, because the stats are so big. This is going to open the door to so many interesting decks. Sand Soldier, Solani, of course, in every single Eve deck. Lucian decks, maybe even more that play with the Owl Cats and stuff. Fizz Azir, yeah, that's the deck we played recently, and it was better than expected. With this card, it'll be just nuts. It'll actually, I think, just be like a competitive deck. Easy 5 stars. Swindler's Den. This one is impossible to rate, because I don't know what a deck would look like with this card. It could either be a 5-star card or a 1-star card. I'm going to give it... I'll give it 2.5 stars. I don't want to quite give it 3. So here's my reasoning, right? Because it's either a 1-star or a 5-star card, I think it's most likely to be bad right now. So instead of being just dead in the middle with a 3, I'm going to give it a 2.5. Because I think it's going to lean towards pretty unplayable for the most part, unless there is that one very specific deck. 2.5 is the middle, but then you start from 0, right? From 1 to 5, 3 is the middle. So, you know, 2.5. 3 is the middle if you're rating from 1 to 5. I'm not rating 0. 2.5. 2.5. So slightly below average, but I think there is potential for this to be another bar story where it's just, oh, they played it on 6, guess I lose. It's gonna, like, it fully depends on how you go into turn 7, right? I think that's like the main thing. What if you go to turn 7 and your chain just instantly gets broken by a unit that you can't play? Like you played it on 6 on your attacking turn, which you probably shouldn't ever do. No, you can only play this on 6 after your opponent's attacked. You have to play this on your defending turn. You have to play this on your defending turn so you can still play some cards to not completely brick. And then on turn 7, when you have the attack token, or turn 8 if you get the attack token then, that's where you have to pop off and just kill your opponent. That's how this needs to work. It's the only way. When I play this on 6, I mean, I'm assuming you have to build this around a deck that has a ton of cheap cards. So it doesn't really matter when you play it, because you're going to pop off with only low-cost cards anyway. Imagine this with TF Gohard. Dude, yeah, exactly. This would be perfect with Gohard. That would be the deck. TF Gohard with this. 6 mana do nothing, that's what people call. Yeah, that's what they call Bar 2. But there will be a deck that can use this well. If not now, it will be in the future. All right. Deck Hunter, 4-star card. If this was a 2-mana 2-1, or a 2-mana 2-2, whatever, it will be a 5-star card. But this effect is way too good to ignore. Anytime you're playing a 2-mana unit that manifests another follower, it's a great card. Might even be like 4 to 4.5. The only thing, again, letting it down is the 1-3 stat line. That would be what would make it a 5-star card. Conch is a 5-star card. Like, no matter how you look at it, Conch has been a 5-star card since the day it was printed. A 2-1 stat line is good in Bandle City. Bandle City kind of struggles getting like meaningful blockers on the board, and 2 attack has always been like that one point where it can be really annoying to attack into. A 1-3 doesn't do that. You don't care about this card. This will always block down pretty much. You mean Build Sweater? No, I mean a 2-1 in Bandle City has just been good. Because their stuff is generally like weaker power level. So getting a 2-1 blocker is very solid. This in Build Sweater could kind of get in the way of itself because of the stats. So, yeah. I feel like these Manifest a Follower with subdeck can lower really hard if they hit port. It doesn't matter, because you're getting the card for free. Even if it's just a blocker. You got 3 options. There's always going to be something that's at least a little bit playable at some point. And sometimes you just high roll when you find the spider. 1-3 is big, 1-3 is terrible. One of the worst stat lines in the game. And yeah, this can make a conch for you. You're going to hit Weapon Master very often with this card. Yeah, you get any Weapon Master at all, it's a high roll. Yeah. Core Creatures is 1-3, yeah, and the stat line is terrible. 1-3 is insane in aggro metas. Not really. Not really. Not anymore. Like a 1-3 is only good against Legion Saboteur because that's a 2-1. It doesn't block anything else really. 1-3 is really, really bad, guys. I'm not saying it's terrible against aggro. It's like fine if you just need a blocker, but it's not going to trade up into anything. 1-4 is a little better because a 1-4 will often take 2 trades. 1-3 is usually only 1. Like, there's a lot of 3 attack units. There's a lot of 3-2s in the game. Anyway, that's not the important part about this. The effect is why you play this. Good card. Very good. 4 to 4.5. Rejuvenating Breeze. I think this is also like 4 to 4.5. 4.5? Cringe out of 5? That's the only right rating. Healing, drawing 2 is just so incredibly good. Drawing 2 spells as well, which is exactly what Ionia wants. Place Your Bet's got some competition. This is a better Place Your Bets unless you're already playing coins. Unless you're playing like Karma coins. This is a better card. Yeah, I'm giving it 4 stars because it's not an auto-include. There are some Ionia decks that don't care about this healing, and in that case, you're just paying 5 mana to draw 2 spells, and that's worse deep met. So, yeah. Just good. Just solid. We'll see a lot of play in a lot of decks. Isn't deep met rotated? I think deep met is rotated, no? Yeah, deep met is rotated. So it doesn't compete with that anymore. What I would like to see is a really greedy Ionia deck with that 7 mana Sky Singer card, the 7 mana 3/6 with lifesteal that halves the cost of all your spells. With that card, you get to always draw 2 spells that will be discounted. And that was kind of the role that deep met fulfilled, right? And then this card is like insane, but I don't see a deck like that existing right now. But I am pretty happy to see that they're pushing like the spell direction of Ionia. Give the region something to do instead of just cringe denial. All right, I'm not going to torture you guys too long with looking at this absolute abomination, this absolute goblin of a card. This is a 5 out of 5, obviously. This is going to go into every Ionia deck. It's a 4 mana 4/3 that tells your opponent, hey, if you play this card, I'm going to ruin your day. Disgusting. Disgusting. Please never do this again. Necrotic Arachnoid. This card is good. If Nasus Vaults doesn't get nerfed, this is like close to a 5 out of 5. If it's nerfed, then this card is going to have a pretty hard time finding a deck. Also because we're still waiting for the Shadow Isle champion. So we don't really know what this card goes into. If Vaults Nasus gets nerfed, which I'm going to assume that it does. Just like Set Karma. If they're printing these cards, I don't think these decks will exist for very long. In that case, I'm giving this a 3. Because there isn't that really clear slot for what Shadow Isles does currently. But in the future, when there is a purpose to Shadow Isle playing their cards like Soul Harvest, like Vengeance, like anything, like the 2/1 that draws a card like Glimpse, when there is more of a point to that kind of stuff, this could be a lot better and will probably just be slot in, much like how you almost instantly lose the game to a Hydrovine if you can't deal with it. If they play this card and it's not dealt with, the game just ends. Hydrovine is really hard to deal with. It's 1 mana cheaper, which is a really big deal, of course. But on turn 8, you're going to start losing immediately. Super solid. Yeah, the Nestlings are 2/2 fearsomes. I'm expecting this to absolutely see play at some point, even if it's not right away. Playing an 8 mana card and instantly getting 2 blockers, while expensive, is something you really can't underestimate. This is so comparable to Dr. Boom. People call Dr. Boom a 7 mana do nothing, but just the fact that you get those boom bots that are hard to get through, and in Blades of Runeterra, you can like immediately start blocking or attacking with them. It's just crazy good, man. So good. And then we have the Tufted webspinner. I think this is a 2-star card. It might not ever see any play. But the best case scenario for this card is playing it with Demacia, playing the Fleet Feather Bird on turn 1, and then playing this so your Fleet Feather can pick something off and getting 3 damage in with this. That's really nice. That is just good. That is just really solid. But how often are you going to see that? A 3-1 is good though, yeah. I'm gonna give this a 2-star rating for now. Chat is spamming 3 stars. You guys might be right. It's close enough together. But if I rate it 3 stars, I need to have like a deck in mind that it can go into and perform like at least pretty okay. The only deck that I see that for right now is with Callista and Demacia. And I just don't think that deck does anything really, if I'm gonna be honest. 3-1 Fearsome is insane. I mean, I wouldn't say insane. If you're playing a 2-mana 3-1 Fearsome with no text, you're probably just making your deck worse. There are better options than that. But if you can get this effect off, then yeah, then it's worth running. For sure. 2 stars. Oh, and this one, and the Sacred Shears. Ooh, this one is hard to rate. Gwen decks haven't really been around all that much the last patch. Ever since the Foyer got nerfed. But for 1 mana, getting this effect, that's really good. You basically play this a little bit later in the game when you have some of those hallowed stacks. And then your opponent's gonna have a really rough time blocking multiple things. Yeah, 3.5 seems right to me. I'm not ready to give it a 4, because Gwen decks just aren't there right now. But if there is a mid-range Gwen deck that has maybe like multiple quick attackers, then yeah, this is just very good. Colrix, I mean, you could just put Colrix on the left. You don't need this weapon for it. If you're playing Colrix, and then you're also equipping like this weapon on it, you probably don't need to do that to already win the game, right? Chat, you have to realize, you can say like, oh, you just put this on a unit and they become a god. You can just put that unit on the left. You shouldn't forget that. You can also just use the hallowed buff. This is about using like more than 1 hallowed buff, right? You need multiple units to make this good. If you need to have 2 units and a Gwen. Well, you don't need the Gwen, I guess, but you need to have 2 units plus a Gwen for really like optimal value. Very often, you have ephemeral units with Gwen too. And you don't love putting this on ephemeral units. I put it on my Gwen, so she double it, then a Miter. Yeah, see, I think that's very good. If you have 4 stacks of Hallowed, your Gwen absorbs them, gets 4 more from the Sacred Shears, and then she's like, I don't know, 10 plus attack overall. That's very cheap. Like, paying 1 mana for 4 extra attack in, like, the little bit later turns, that's just very solid. But you can't forget you need to take an action, and your opponent can then decide to deal with it when they think it's gonna run, like, out of hand. So it becomes a little awkward to play, but I could definitely see Gwen decks playing this going forward. 3.5 stars, because there are currently no good Gwen decks. And those were the cards for today. Definitely scared of Siren's song. I'm expecting this card to be a big meta definer. Shout out to the LOR report for getting the cards online so fast. Love this little overlay. Give him a follow. Thank you, Marshall. Let me know what you guys think in the comments and all. What is your favorite card revealed? And tomorrow, if the schedule is correct, we should be getting a new champion. And, you know, I'm gonna be here to do that, give my ratings, my first impressions as well, just like every day. Bye, YouTube.